What's up guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we are going to bring you some footage from America's newest national park, so stay tuned. So the national park we're talking about is New River Gorge National Park and Preserve. When we were looking for a place to stay near there, there are some private campgrounds close to there, but the place that we found to stay was Little Beaver State Park in Beaver, West Virginia.
Yeah, so we chose this one because we like state parks and they also had an activity going on for Halloween, so Dylan was excited about that. So they have two different camping loops. Some of the sites in loop 1 are water and 30 amp, and some of the sites are water and 50 amp. So the sites that have 30 amp with the water are sites 1, 2, 4 through 12, and 14 through 18. And if you're looking for a 50 amp site, the ones in loop 1 that have the 50 amp in water are 3, 13, and 19 through 28. And then loop 2 is water only, no electric, and those sites are 30 through 45.
The campground itself was well kept. It was a nice campground. Probably the only drawback when we were there, the weather was pretty dreary. It was just kind of raining off and on, not super heavy rain, but just enough to keep everything wet, and the campsite did get really muddy.
Very fast.
Yeah, it was pretty muddy, but regardless, we weren't real sure how good the turnout would be for their Halloween event that they had there at Little Beaver State Park, but Dylan was looking forward to it, and as it got closer to time for the event, they had an exceptional turnout. We were really shocked.
It was raining that day too.
Yeah, it rained all day.
It was even drizzling while you were trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't slow anybody down. I mean, the people came out for it. You know, they put the event on, and it turned out to be just a really great event, and we really had a good time and enjoyed it. So the drive from Little Beaver State Park over to the Canyon Rim Visitor Center at New River Gorge National Park is only 40 minutes. So it's a nice, easy drive to get over there. You get to go actually across the bridge before you get to the Visitor Center. So as soon as you cross the New River Gorge Bridge, the Canyon Rim Visitor Center is going to be just on your right-hand side as you come off of the bridge. So you get to kind of see a view from on top of the bridge as you go over it. And then once you get to the Visitor Center, you can take a trail and you can get down and kind of see a view of the bridge kind of from lower and off to the side.
So the bridge was built in 1977, and it reduced a 40-minute drive down the mountain to less than a 1-minute drive across the bridge.
Like Dylan said, it was 40 minutes down the side of the mountain, back up the other side of the mountain on a very tiny, narrow, winding road, and now it's a 1-minute drive. So it's the longest steel span bridge in the Western Hemisphere at just over 3,000 feet, and it's also 867 feet high, which makes it the third highest bridge in the United States. However, it doesn't feel like the highest bridge because it's the transition from the highway onto the bridge is flat. So as you can see from the pictures and the video, it's a flat bridge. So you know, you don't have to, if you're somebody that is a little bit scared of big bridges or tall bridges or going up, you know, over big bridges, not an issue with this because you don't even realize that you're 867 feet above the floor of the gorge because the transition is just flat. It's just flat across the entire way. So provides a pretty neat view as you go across. For the passengers anyway, not so much for the driver, but you know, the passengers can look out off the bridge. And in 2020, it was reclassified from New River Gorge National River to New River Gorge National Park and Preserve, which makes it one of the newest national parks. So definitely gets a lot more attention now than it used to. When we were there, it was not extremely busy, but the weather was also not the best. The national park itself encompasses a little over 72,000 acres, but kind of the unique thing about this national park is that it actually covers 53 miles of the New River. So the park is really, really long, and the land that it covers kind of is throughout some other towns. So it's not a typical national park where you go in the entrance of the national park and then you can just explore all around inside of it. Really having a map that you can pick up at the visitor center is very valuable. There are a few other visitor centers you can get to that are open seasonally. There's a tremendous amount of hikes that you can do, ranging from just real simple, easy hikes to more difficult ones. But a lot of those, again, since the park is 53 miles, covers 53 miles of river, a lot of those can be a little bit of a distance away from the visitor center. So you may have to drive a little ways to get to the hikes. So it's just a different type of national park. And the weather was not the greatest when we were there. So what we elected to do was just take the Boardwalk trail. You can walk just down off to the side of the visitor center. You can go down a very nice boardwalk trail. It's 178 steps to get to the lower Overlook. And then from there, you can get just a phenomenal view of the bridge from a little bit lower angle. You're kind of off to the side. It's where a lot of the real iconic pictures that you see of that bridge are taken, and give you really an appreciation for how high the bridge is up from the gorge floor and how long it is. You know, it's really an engineering marvel, and really something really cool to see and learn about the history of the bridge and the history of the area.
And that's actually the only trail you can take from that visitor center. The other ones you have to drive to.
Yeah, and again, the people, the workers there at the visitor center were extremely helpful. We heard them explaining. There were some other people asking about hiking trails, and they really gave them some very valuable information, really explained it well to them, where to go, the different difficulty levels of the hikes. So you can actually see the new river from the visitor center. They have like an overlook inside the visitor center that looks down the river. So a lot of really awesome views to be seen there at the visitor center without having to really go far.
If you pass it through West Virginia and you like national parks like us, it's definitely a cool one to check out.
Yeah, we really like seeing the national parks, and Dylan really likes checking off all the national parks. So being able to knock off New River Gorge National Park, the newest one in West Virginia, was awesome. Little Beaver State Park was a great place to stay to go see it from. All right, that's going to wrap it up. New River Gorge National Park, awesome place. Definitely recommend checking it out. It makes for a nice short little trip, so we highly recommend it if you're in West Virginia. We appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you guys down the road.